Well, we got our Kubota genuine parts. Here's the part number. We're gonna put this filter in this morning. It came with no filter, this machine. I hope they weren't using it like that in the summer anyway. So I always write the date and the hours on the machine on this. So we're at 1871. There we go. So it's Valentine's Day today. If it fits, it's supposed to be the right one. I don't know if that inner filter is supposed to be a screen like that. I'm gonna have to ask the dealer what that inner filter looks like. A secondary filter, whatever you call it. The top's over there. Okay. And this thing's all chewed up. I don't know what happened in here. They got it all chewed up like that. Seems like it's the right filter. I don't think I need this filter on in the winter, but when you do start it up in a garage, the floor can be dusty, so that few seconds when it starts up before you go outside is probably a good idea to have a filter. But summertime, you have to have a filter. You know, so. Jeez, that seems tight. Okay. And this thing shakes like crazy in here when you start it up. I don't understand what's going on with that. I did an oil change yesterday. I ran it an hour last night, so that's why it says 1870 there. I'm about to put a stud. I got a lug nut for this wheel. I've got a stud and a lug nut for the other side. Can't get that off. I can't get this out. I think I need the torches. Maybe heat that up a bit. Or maybe weld a nut on it or something. And then we had a bit of an issue last night. Couldn't get that hydraulic motor to work for the rotating the chute, and it's pointing almost straight forward, which is kind of useless. It's helpful sometimes, but if you're doing a driveway, it's kind of useless. So I hooked these hoses thinking that's the way they were. The bottom two were one remote and the top two another. I think they're left and right, possibly. I don't know. I just bought this machine. I've never used it. I drove it around a little bit but other than that, I've never used the mower deck on it. The mower deck was hooked up to it till about 3 days ago. No drive shaft for the mower deck when I got it, so I couldn't use the mower deck. And I didn't want to use it until I went through the machine and did a bunch of oil changes. And I still got to do the transmission, the hydraulic oil for the tranny, and then I got a filter to change for that. And then I've got a metal tube that goes on here, right in here. That main filter, right there. It's all bashed in right there. And I think further back it's bashed in too. I spent the money and bought a new tube for that. I painted it. It's hanging up. It's got to go on there. I think I don't have to worry about the oil overheating in the summer. In the winter, I put a new battery in. Not a new battery. That's a used battery, but I put it in last night. I got these. This is the old. I think this is like a 1987 Kubota battery frame. I painted the piece of angle that goes on it came with this machine and I can't find it. I put it somewhere. It'll turn up. So I got these two rods. I unseized the nuts. I lubricated those, and there's no anti-seize on anything on this machine. I don't think anyone's ever done too much greasing or lubricating or oiling. They used a paintbrush to paint this thing. Like, the paint is just awful. The snowblower is just full of cracks. Snowblower's in great shape. It's just paint's ugly. So I listed it with this tobacco. So I gotta take that off, undo that bolt, and keep this off of there. It'll go in the drawer. If I ever do need to lift it, that's how you do it. I gotta get a plug for that gearbox. It's leaking oil. That's on the list this morning, and then I've called the dealer to find out what kind of oil goes in there. They haven't called me back yet. I called for a front windshield. There's no windshield. No windows at all anywhere on this cab. So we're going to... Possibly we're going to put windows in. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. My plan was to use this only in the summer. If I do use it in the summer, this floor pan is rusted right out. Everything's rusted right to pieces on it. So I've called the dealer. I've got a price on that floor pan. It's expensive, but I think it's worth it. I might buy one. I'm not decided yet on that. Because I wanted to use it in the summer. These insulation kits, don't put them in these tractors. Just throw them right in the garbage. Because you can't get it out. It's all bolted in there. And it holds salt water. It's like water from your boots get covered in salt. You get in and out of this machine when you're doing snow removal. And then the floor rots out. And then you wonder, I wonder how that happened. And this thing stays wet all summer. So just leave it bare metal. The original floor pan that's there. You know, throw some felt down. I had felt in the old F3400 over there's got felt. You can pull it out and let it dry. It's got 2 remotes. The levers are right there. I tried them last night. They didn't seem to do anything. I could hear them trying to work. So the hydraulic it's trying to send oil somewhere. We got to clean up that oil. I threw an envelope on the floor on the ground there last night. No, this morning. This was covered in snow. There had to be this much snow in here last night. I could barely operate this pedal. I kept having to get out and clean out the snow because it's shooting right out of these 2 holes up here. Are shooting out like a street, almost like someone's shooting a water pistol at you. So I'm going to put 2 bolts in there for now. I do think I have the brackets for that and the hydraulic cylinder. We will eventually get that on there. It's nice to have that little deflector. I got the lights working before I went out last night. I got them hooked up and working. All the switches were missing on this. I put 2 toggle switches. That's a piece of vinyl siding. They have samples there at the hardware store. This light worked. And then I've got it written on the oil filter. I'll also write it on a piece of tape over there. The hours and the date today. So you'll know next time you need to change the oil. Probably the heater works on this if you hook the hoses up, but the hoses aren't hooked up and I didn't even try to operate the fan, so maybe the fan works, maybe it doesn't. There's a cab air filter. I can see it right there. That probably needs to be changed too. Okay. Oh yeah. The light's not working. There, it works there. Oh yeah, that's pretty dirty looking. I think that's the electric motor for the wipers. I didn't try that. I didn't hear it come on last night. I fooled around with the wires. This must be... interesting. Okay, I know which wires those are. That must be for the electric motor. For the wipers. That wouldn't be hard to get working, probably. I blew a fuse on that last night. Trying to figure out which wires were the lights. So obviously I hooked up something wrong, but... Okay, so what else? I think I've covered it pretty good here. The machine only has 1,870 hours, so it's, you know, these things will go to 5,000 hours. But because I have an older F series tractor with a blown head gasket, this one's going to be the main snow blowing machine for here, my house. I don't use it commercially anymore, but the other one was used commercially on. It was on sites for the last 25, more than that, almost 30 years. So I just use it for the driveway. My driveway's 600 feet long, and then I have an outbuilding there and stuff. There's probably 800-900 feet of driveway here. So I don't want a little walk behind machine. This is what I want to use. So, okay, so 10 minutes of this. I'm going to call a dealer again. They're not calling me back for that gear oil. I called for a price for a windshield. They didn't. I called them a couple of months ago, and they never called me back. So you just got to keep calling until you get what you want. But yeah, well, I think we're gonna have to put heat on that little stud there, and I'm not gonna change that tube today, but that's got to be done. It's on the list. I have the oil for the transmission. I think I have enough oil, and if anything, I'm gonna put a windshield in it of some kind. I'm either gonna buy plexiglass if it's too expensive for the glass windshield. I'll probably you know what? I bet you used plexiglass is cheap right now because the pandemic's over now, and everybody had plexiglass. I mean, you didn't want to buy plexiglass the year of the pandemic. It probably the price of that stuff. There's probably shortage of it worldwide. So every store around here had plexiglass. I should look up, buy a bunch of plexiglass. I have some pieces, but I don't think I have enough to do this whole cab. So yeah, it's not a priority though. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time putting glass in this. I'd rather get the other machine up and running or switch the cab to another machine. So just the main thing is get it working and get it somewhat comfortable for the rest of this winter. And I'm considering selling this cab. If you're interested in buying a cab, I'm in Eastern Canada here, so this might go up for sale in the summer or next fall. It depends on whether that other machine gets fixed or not. And I'll hang on to it for now, but it could come up for sale. Yeah, this was supposed to be used just for summer, really. Although it's kind of nice to have the cab with it if I decide to ever put it on for winter. Okay, let's get some work done. Anyway, keep watching. There'll be videos on this coming out once in a while. The Randomatic channel. It's just whatever I'm doing, that's what I take videos of. Yeah, thanks for watching.